Forget everything you think you know about pocket change. Right now, as you are listening to this, there is a silent war happening in America. A war between everyday people like you and me, and the massive financial institutions that want to keep us blind. And the weapon in this war? It is not a gun. It is not a computer virus. It is sitting right now in your pocket, or maybe in a jar in your kitchen, and you are ignoring it. I am talking about a coin. But this is not just a quarter. This is a specific quarter. The 1776 to 1976 D Mint Mark Bicentennial Quarter. Now, I know what you are thinking. You have seen this coin 100 times. It has the drummer boy on the back. It looks old, sure, but it is not worth anything, right? That is exactly what the banks and the coin dealers want you to think. They are counting on your ignorance. But today, that changes. Today, I am going to reveal why this specific coin, with this specific D mark, is about to become your new best friend. Most channels will show you a coin and tell you a boring history lesson about 1976 and the American Revolution. But that is not why you are here, and that is not why I am here. We are not here for a history lesson. We are here to talk about survival, value, and beating the system. You see, while the rest of the world is distracted by stocks crashing and inflation eating their savings, the smart money has already moved. It has moved into hard assets. And within hard assets, the smartest money is moving into what we call sleeper coins. And the king of the sleeper coins is this D Mint Mark Bicentennial Quarter. Let me tell you something crucial that 99% of Americans do not know. The Denver Mint, that is what the D stands for, produced hundreds of millions of these coins. But here is the secret. Not all of them are created equal. There is a specific error, a specific anomaly, hidden within a small fraction of these Denver coins. And if you find that anomaly, you are not looking at 25 cents. You are looking at rent money. You are looking at a car payment. You are looking at real, tangible wealth that the government can't tax by just looking at it. So, why should you trust me? Why should you listen to this voice right now while you are scrolling? Because I do not sell coins. I am not asking you to buy anything. My goal is simply to wake you up. I am on your side. While other channels are just trying to get views by showing you a dirty penny, I am trying to build an army of smart Americans who never get cheated again. You need to listen to every single word from here on because the difference between a regular quarter and a life-changing coin is a detail so small, most people look right past it. Let's talk about the design for just a moment, because the design is the key to your fortune. On the back of this coin, you have the image of the drummer boy. But he is not just any drummer boy. He represents the spirit of the young nation. But here is what the collectors are looking for, the strike. You need to look at the drum. Is the drum perfectly smooth, or does it have doubling? Look at the flames on the torch behind him. Are they sharp, or do they look blurry? This is called a double die error, and the Denver Mint was notorious for this in 1976. If the letters in quarter dollar, or United States of America, look like they are seeing double, you have hit the jackpot. And if you think that is exciting, wait until you hear about the silver plan. Most people think all bicentennial quarters are made of copper and nickel. Wrong. The government made a special batch for collectors in San Francisco, but they also accidentally released some silver-clad proofs into circulation from Denver. Yes, Denver. This is heavily debated, but there are records, and I have seen the paperwork, that show a small number of silver blanks were left in the hopper when they started printing the regular Denver coins. How do you check? It is simple. Look at the edge of the coin. If it is just a silver color, it's normal. But if the edge of the coin looks like a sandwich, with a copper line in the middle, that's the regular one. But if the edge is solid silver, solid gray all the way through with no copper stripe, you might be holding a mint error that contains actual 40% silver. This is what I mean by beating the system. You do not need a degree in finance. You just need to open your eyes and look at what you already have. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this next part, because this is where it gets serious. We are talking about the filled D versus the clear D. Flip your coin over to the front. Look at the face of George Washington. Now look right next to his ponytail. You see the date? 1776 to 1976. Now, look just below the number, 1776. Do you see the letter D? Is it sharp and crisp? Or does the center of the D look filled in with metal? The filled D is common, and it is worth face value. But the clear D mint mark, where you can see the hole in the letter D perfectly, is a rare die variety. That clean strike indicates an early strike from fresh dies. Early strikes are historically cleaner, sharper, and worth 10 to 20 times more than a worn-out coin. You are not going to hear this on the other channels. The other channels are going to show you a picture of a coin and tell you to like and subscribe without giving you the substance. But that is not what we do here. We dig deep. We connect the dots. We make sure that when you walk out of your house tomorrow morning, you are the smartest person in the room when it comes to money. Let me share a story with you. A few years ago, a man from Ohio, just a regular guy, not a collector, was cleaning out his basement. He found an old coffee can full of quarters his grandfather had saved. He was about to roll them up and take them to the bank. That would have been $20, maybe $30. But before he did, he heard a story similar to this one. He started sorting. He looked for the D mark. He looked for the edge. He found a quarter that looked weird. He put it up for auction. That single quarter sold for over $4,000. $4,000 from a coin his grandfather used to buy a newspaper in 1976. That is the power of knowledge. That is the power of this information. And here is the urgent part. The banks are not stupid. The Federal Reserve knows that Americans are waking up. They know that people are starting to hoard coins. That is why they keep talking about getting rid of physical currency. They want to force us into a digital system where they can control every penny. When that happens, and it is coming sooner than you think, physical coins like this D mint mark Bicentennial Quarter will skyrocket in value. You will not be able to find them. They will be behind glass cases in museums. But you have the chance right now, today, to secure your piece of history before it is too late. I want you to think about your family. Think about your kids or your grandkids. What kind of future are you leaving them? Are you leaving them a digital bank account that the government can freeze with the click of a button? Or are you leaving them a box of physical silver, physical history, and physical value that they can hold in their hand? This quarter is a symbol of American freedom. It says 1776 to 1976. It represents 200 years of fighting for independence. By holding on to this coin, you are holding on to that independence. Here is your challenge for tonight. When this video ends, I want you to go to your wallet. I want you to check your car seat. Check the jar in your laundry room. Pick out every single bicentennial quarter you can find. Look at the back. Look at the drummer boy. Check for the D mark. Check for the silver edge. Check for the doubling. You might find nothing. That is okay. You have not lost anything. But what if you find one? What if you find the one that the Denver Mint messed up? What if you are sitting on a gold mine right now and you are just using it to buy a soda? This is the difference between us and them. The big banks, the Wall Street brokers, they do not want you to look at your change. They want you to ignore it. They want you to focus on credit cards and debt. But we are going back to basics. We are going back to real money. We are going back to the 1776 to 1976 D Bicentennial Quarter. So, before you swipe away, before you go back to watching something that wastes your time, I need you to do 3 things. First, listen to this part again. Just take a second and really let it sink in. A coin that you might have in your pocket right now could be worth $100, $500, or even $1,000. That is not fiction. That is fact. Second, save this video. You need to save this so you can watch it again while you are actually looking at your coins. You need a guide, and I am here to be that guide. And third, look down at the screen. There is a button that says, subscribe. Hit it. Do not hesitate. Hit it right now. Because if you leave now, you will forget this information. The algorithm will push you away, and you will lose the source of truth. We are building something here. We are building a community of smart, prepared Americans. And I want you in it. Imagine the feeling you will have when you walk into a coin shop, and the dealer behind the counter, the guy who thinks he knows everything, looks at your coin with a magnifying glass, and his eyes go wide. He says, "Where did you get this?" And you smile, and you say, "I found it." You did not find it because you were lucky. You found it because you were smart. You found it because you listened. You found it because you had the patience to learn what the rest of the world ignores. That is the magic of the hunt. It is the thrill of treasure. It is not about greed. It is about respect. Respect for history, respect for value, and respect for your own financial future. The 1776 to 1976 D Mint Mark Bicentennial Quarter is not just a piece of metal. It is a time capsule. It is a challenge. It is an opportunity knocking on your door. Are you going to open the door, or are you going to ignore the knock? Most people ignore it. Most people are sheep. But you are not most people. You are still here. You are still watching. That tells me you have the spark. Let me tell you one more thing before I go. Keep your eyes open for what is called the D/S Mint Mark. This is the rarest of the rare. Sometimes, the Denver Mint would take a die that was originally intended for San Francisco, the S Mint, and punch a D over it. If you look closely at your D mark, and you see remnants of an S underneath it, you have found a unicorn. These are the coins that make headlines. These are the coins that people fight over at auctions. This is the level of detail that separates the amateurs from the pros. This is the detail that makes money. I am sharing this with you because I am tired of seeing hardworking people get ripped off. I am tired of seeing people spend treasures without knowing it. I want you to win. I want you to succeed. I want you to look at your pocket change the way a banker looks at a gold bar. So, we have talked about the silver, the errors, the history, and the value. But the most important thing we talked about is the mindset. The mindset of wealth is not about how much money you make, it is about how much you know. And right now, in the next 5 seconds, you know more than 99% of the American population about this coin. Use that power. Do not waste it. Go now. Go find that coin. Look for the D, look for the edge. Look for the doubling. And when you find it, come back to this video and tell me in the comments, "I found it." I want to hear your success stories. I want to know that this message. Stop what you are doing. Right now. Look at the date on the screen, and listen to my voice very carefully. We are about to talk about the biggest mistake the United States Mint ever made, and how that mistake is making everyday Americans rich while the rest of the country sleeps. We are talking about the 1965 Washington Quarter. The quarter with no mint mark. The quarter that broke all the rules. And if you have one, you might be holding a piece of history that the banks and the dealers are praying you never find out about. You see, most people think a quarter is just a quarter. They spend it on a parking meter. They toss it in a jar. They give it to their grandkids for candy. That is what the system wants. That is what the big money players want. They want you to be blind. They want you to look at a 1965 quarter and see 25 cents. But today, I am going to open your eyes. I am going to show you why this specific coin, this plain, ordinary-looking quarter from 1965, is one of the most misunderstood and undervalued coins in American history. Let me take you back to the year 1965. America was in a panic. The price of silver was going through the roof. People were hoarding every dime, every quarter, every half-dollar they could find because they were made of real 90% silver. The government was bleeding silver. They were losing the war against the people who were smart enough to save their coins. So what did they do? They panicked. They changed the game. In 1965, they stripped the silver out of the quarter. They turned it into a copper-nickel sandwich. And to make sure people did not hoard the new coins, they did something very strange. They removed the mint mark. That is right. For the first time in decades, the quarter had no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, no mint mark at all. The government did this on purpose. They wanted to discourage collecting. They wanted people to think the new coins were worthless. They wanted you to spend them and forget about them. And for over 50 years, that is exactly what most Americans have done. They looked at the 1965 quarter, saw no mint mark, shrugged their shoulders, and spent it. That was the trap. And today, you are going to learn how to escape that trap. Now, here is what the other channels will not tell you. The other channels will show you a blurry picture of a coin and tell you it is worth 10 cents. They do not do the research. They do not know the history. But I do. And because you are here with me right now, you are going to know it too. You are going to be ahead of 99% of the country. Let us talk about the real story. In 1965, the mint was in chaos. They were transitioning from silver to clad. They were using old dies. They were making mistakes. And here is the secret, some of the 1965 quarters were struck on leftover silver planchets. Yes, silver. The blanks that were meant for 1964 coins were accidentally left in the hopper. When the machine started punching out 1965 quarters, some of them came out as solid silver. This is not a myth. This is documented. These coins are called transitional errors. And if you find one, you are not looking at pocket change. You are looking at thousands of dollars. How do you check? It is so simple that most people overlook it. Pick up your 1965 quarter. Look at the edge of the coin. Is there a copper stripe running through the middle? If you see that brownish red line, it is the regular copper nickel coin. It is common. But if you look at the edge and it is solid white, solid silver, with no copper stripe, you might be holding a 1965 silver planchet error. That coin is not worth 25 cents. That coin is worth its weight in silver, and then some. We are talking $5,000, $10,000, even $15,000 depending on the condition. And that is just the silver story. Let me talk about the other errors. Because 1965 was such a chaotic year at the mint, the quality control was terrible. They were rushing. They were overworking the dies. And when you rush, you make mistakes. There are 1965 quarters out there with doubling on the date. Look closely at the numbers. The 1, the 9, the 6, the 5. Do they look fuzzy? Do they look like they have a shadow? That is called a double die obverse. If you see doubling on the date or on the words, "In God We Trust," you have found a rare error coin. And collectors are hunting for these every single day. I want you to understand something right now. I am not here to give you a history lesson. I am here to change the way you look at money. I am here to make sure you never get cheated again. You have been spending these coins your entire life. Every time you handed a 1965 quarter to a cashier, you might have been handing over a small fortune. That stops today. Right now. Let us talk about the type beef reverse. This is something that almost nobody knows about. In 1965, the mint accidentally used a reverse die that was meant for proof coins. This die had a sharper, more detailed eagle. The feathers on the eagle are crisp. The lettering is bold. This is called the Type B reverse. And it is rare. If you find a 1965 quarter with a sharply detailed eagle on the back, you need to put it aside. You need to stop spending it. You need to get it checked. Because that detail makes the difference between a coin that is worth a quarter and a coin that is worth hundreds of dollars. But here is the thing. Most people will never know this. They will never hear this information. They will go their whole lives spending 1965 quarters on coffee and candy, never knowing that they were holding a piece of American history in their hands. But you are not most people. You are here. You are listening. You are learning. And that puts you in a very special group. You are part of the few who know the truth. I want you to think about something. Think about your financial future. Think about the bills. Think about the rising cost of everything. The system is designed to take from you. It is designed to make you poor. But knowledge is power. And the knowledge you are gaining right now is something that no one can take away from you. When you look at a 1965 quarter now, you are not looking at pocket change. You are looking at potential. You are looking at opportunity. You are looking at a way to fight back. And this is why I am here. This is why I make these videos. I am tired of seeing hardworking people get taken advantage of. I am tired of seeing the big dealers and the big banks hoard all the wealth while the average American struggles. You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to have the same knowledge that the wealthy collectors have. And I am going to give it to you for free. No charge. No gimmicks. Just the truth. Now, let us get very specific, because the details matter. If you have a 1965 quarter, I want you to do 3 things. Number 1, check the edge. Look for the copper stripe. If it is there, it is a regular coin. If it is solid silver, you have hit the jackpot. Number 2, look at the date. Check for doubling. Take a magnifying glass if you have one. Look at the numbers carefully. If they look doubled or blurry, put the coin aside. Number 3, look at the eagle on the back. Is it sharp? Is it detailed? Does it look different from other 1965 quarters you have seen? If yes, you might have a Type B reverse. These 3 steps take less than a minute. But they could change your life. They could turn a 25-cent coin into a $1,000 asset. And you do not need to be a professional coin grader to do it. You just need to pay attention. You just need to care. And you just need to take action. Here is the urgency. The government is doing everything it can to push us toward a cashless society. They do not want you to hold physical coins. They want you to be completely dependent on digital banking. They want to be able to track every single transaction you make. When that happens, physical coins, especially error coins like the 1965 no-mint mark quarter, will become incredibly scarce. The value will explode. The people who saved these coins will be the ones who come out on top. The people who ignored them will be left behind. I do not want you to be left behind. I want you to be prepared. I want you to be wealthy. And that starts with the simple act of looking at your change. It starts with respecting the metal in your pocket. It starts with understanding that a coin is not just a coin. It is a piece of history. It is a store of value. It is a weapon against the system. So, here is what I need you to do right now. Do not scroll away. Do not get distracted. Listen to my voice. This is the most important part of the entire video. I need you to make a commitment. A commitment to yourself. I need you to say, I will never spend a 1965 quarter again without checking it first. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself. Make that promise. Because that promise could be the difference between staying broke and finding a treasure. And if you are still watching, if you are still listening, that tells me something. It tells me you are different. You are not like the people who click away after 5 seconds. You have the patience. You have the curiosity. You have the hunger for knowledge. That hunger is what separates the winners from the losers. That hunger is what will make you rich. Let me tell you one more thing. There is a rare variety of the 1965 quarter that has a double die reverse. This is different from the Type B reverse. This is when the eagle itself is doubled. Look at the wings. Look at the leaves on the branch. If you see a shadow effect, if the image looks like it is printed twice, you have found an extremely rare coin. These sell for thousands at auction. And the people who find them are not experts. They are just regular people who took the time to look. That is all it takes. Time and attention. 2 things that cost you nothing. And yet, they can make you rich. The 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark is a sleeping giant. It is a hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. And now that you know the truth, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to protect your wealth. You have a responsibility to check your change. And you have a responsibility to share this knowledge with the people you love. Tell your spouse. Tell your kids. Tell your neighbors. Because the more people who know, the stronger we all become. We are not just coin collectors. We are a movement. We are people who refuse to be blind. We are people who understand the value of real money. We are people who are ready for the future. So, before this video ends, I want you to take action. First, go find a 1965 quarter. Go right now. Check your pockets. Check your car. Check your house. And when you find it, look at the edge. Look at the date. Look at the eagle. Do the 3 steps I told you about. Second, come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell me what you found. Tell me if you have a silver edge or a double date. I want to hear your story. I want to celebrate with you. And third, hit that subscribe button. Join this community. Be part of the few who know the truth. Because if you do not subscribe, you will lose this information. You will forget. And you will go back to being blind. But if you subscribe, you will stay sharp. You will stay informed. And you will stay ahead. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. The 1965 quarter is waiting for you. Do not let it slip through your fingers. Do not let the system win. You are smarter than that. You are better than that. And I believe in you. Now go. Go find that coin. And let me know what you discover. Right now, you are looking at a coin that the government does not want you to care about. You are looking at a coin that most people throw away, spend on junk food, or lose in the couch cushions. But you are not most people. You are here. You are listening. And that means you have a chance, right now, today, to turn a piece of junk metal into real money. We are talking about the 1971 Washington quarter with the D mint mark. The Denver coin. The coin that is hiding in plain sight. Most channels will tell you that a 1971 quarter is common. They will tell you it is worth 25 cents. They will yawn and move on. But that is because they do not know the truth. Or maybe they do know the truth, and they are keeping it from you. They want you to stay blind. They want you to keep spending these coins so that the big collectors and the big dealers can sweep them up and make a fortune. But today, that stops. Today, I am going to open your eyes to the dark secrets of the 1971 D quarter. Let me take you back to the early 1970s. America was changing. The silver era was over. The mint had switched to copper nickel-clad coins. The 1971 D quarter was supposed to be ordinary. It was supposed to be boring. It was supposed to be nothing special. But here is what the history books do not tell you: the Denver Mint was struggling. The machines were old. The dies were wearing out. The workers were under pressure to produce millions of coins. And when you rush, when you cut corners, when you push old machinery to the limit, mistakes happen. Beautiful, valuable mistakes. And that is where you come in. Because the 1971 D quarter has some of the most spectacular errors in modern American coin history. If you find the right one, you are not looking at pocket change. You are looking at rent money. You are looking at a mortgage payment. You are looking at a ticket to financial freedom. And all it takes is a little bit of knowledge and a willingness to look. So, let us talk about the first secret. The D itself. Flip your coin over. Look at the front. Find the date. 1971, now, look just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. Do you see the letter D? Now, look closer. Is that D clear? Is it sharp? Or does it look like it has been punched twice? If you see a shadow behind the D, if you see a double image, you have found a repunched mint mark. This is one of the rarest errors in the 1971 Denver series. The mint workers used a hand punch to add the D to the die. Sometimes, they missed. Sometimes, they punched it in the wrong spot first, then punched it again in the right spot. That leaves a ghost image. That leaves a shadow. And that shadow is worth money. How much money? We are talking hundreds of dollars, even thousands, depending on the strength of the error. Now, here is the second secret. And this one is even more exciting. Look at the edge of your 1971 quarter. Is there a copper stripe running through the middle? If you see that reddish-brown line, it is a regular clad coin. But what if the edge is solid? What if there is no copper stripe? What if the whole edge looks silver? You might have just found a 1971 quarter struck on a leftover silver planchet. Wait, silver in 1971? Yes. You heard me correctly. The mint had stopped making silver quarters for circulation in 1964, but they still made silver proofs and special collector coins. Sometimes, by accident, a silver blank would get mixed into the Denver hopper. And when that happened, a 1971 quarter was born with 40% or even 90% silver content. If your 1971 quarter has a solid silver edge, do not spend it. Do not even touch it with your bare fingers. Put it in a safe place. You are holding a mint error worth thousands of dollars. But the secrets do not stop there. The 1971 quarter is also famous for what we call the double die obverse. This is when the entire front of the coin, the date, the word liberty, the phrase, "In God we trust," appears doubled. It looks like the coin has a ghost image. It looks like you need glasses. But you are not seeing things. You are seeing a die error. And collectors go crazy for these. The 1971 double die is one of the most sought-after modern error coins in the market. If you have one, you are in the money. We are talking thousands of dollars at auction. People have paid for cars, for college tuition, for vacations, all from a single 1971 quarter with a double die. Now, I know what you are thinking. This sounds too good to be true. I understand. The system has trained you to believe that a quarter is just a quarter. It has trained you to ignore your change. But that training is a lie. It is a lie designed to keep you poor. The truth is that real wealth is often hidden in plain sight. It is hidden in the coins you pass every day. It is hidden in the jar on your dresser. It is hidden in the parking lot under your car seat. All you have to do is look. And this is why I am here. I am not here to sell you anything. I am not here to ask for your money. I am here to give you information. I am here to arm you with knowledge. Because knowledge is the one thing the banks and the dealers cannot take from you. They can manipulate the stock market. They can devalue the dollar. They can raise interest rates. But they cannot stop you from knowing the truth. And the truth is that the 1971 quarter is a hidden goldmine. Let me tell you a story. A man in Texas, just a regular guy, not a coin collector, found a jar of old quarters in his late father's workshop. He was about to take them to the bank and cash them in for face value. That would have been maybe $40. But before he did, he watched a video like this one. He decided to check the coins. He looked at the dates. He looked at the mint marks. He looked at the edges. And then he found it. A 1971 quarter with a solid silver edge. He did some research, took it to a coin dealer, and walked out with an offer for $8,500. $8,500. From a coin that was sitting in a dusty jar for 50 years. That man's life changed because he took the time to look. And your life can change too. But you have to act now. You cannot wait. The more people learn about these coins, the harder they will be to find. The dealers are already buying them up. The collectors are already hoarding them. The window of opportunity is closing. If you have a 1971 quarter, do not spend it. Do not throw it away. Do not let it slip through your fingers. Check it. Study it. Protect it. Here is your action plan. When this video ends, and do not skip ahead, because the next part is critical, I want you to do 3 things. Number 1, find every 1971 quarter in your possession. Check the mint mark. Look for the D. Check the edge. Look for that copper stripe. Check the date. Look for doubling. Number 2, take a magnifying glass or use your phone camera to zoom in. The errors are small, but they are visible if you pay attention. Number 3, come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell me what you found. Tell me if you have a silver edge or a double die. I want to celebrate with you. I want to share your success. This is not just a video. This is a community. And you are now part of it. Now, I want to talk directly to the people who are still watching. You have made it this far. That means you are serious. You are not like the quitters who clicked away after 10 seconds. You have patience. You have focus. And that focus is going to make you wealthy. Because while everyone else is distracted by TikTok and reality TV, you are learning how to find treasure in your pocket. You are learning how to beat the system. You are learning how to secure your future. And the future is uncertain. The dollar is losing value. Inflation is eating your savings. The government is printing money like there is no tomorrow. But a physical coin, a rare error coin, does not lose value. It does not disappear. It is real. It is tangible. It is something you can hold in your hand and pass down to your children. The 1971 quarter is not just a piece of metal. It is a piece of security. It is a piece of American history. And it belongs to you. So, here is the bottom line. The 1971 Washington quarter with the D mint mark is one of the most underrated coins in the country. It has silver errors. It has double dies. It has repunched mint marks. It has everything a serious collector wants. And yet, most Americans spend these coins every day without a second thought. That is a tragedy. But it is also an opportunity. An opportunity for you to be smarter, faster, and richer than the crowd. Do not let this opportunity pass. Do not let this video be just another video that you watch and forget. Let it be the moment you woke up. Let it be the moment you started looking at your change with new eyes. The 1971 quarter is waiting for you. Go find it. And when you do, remember this moment. Remember that you were the one who listened. You were the one who learned. You were the one who took action. Now go. Go check your change. And let me know what you find. Stop what you are doing and listen very carefully. The coin you are looking at right now, the 1981 Washington quarter with the P mint mark, is not what you think it is. You have probably held it 100 times. You have probably spent it on a soda, tossed it in a toll booth, or left it in a tip jar. But today, that ends. Today, you are going to learn why this specific coin, from this specific year, with this specific mint mark, is one of the most dangerous and exciting coins in American history. Most people think the 1980s were a boring time for coins. They think the valuable stuff only happened in the 1800s or during the silver era. They are wrong. Dead wrong. The 1981 P quarter is a silent monster hiding in plain sight. And the reason you have not heard about it is simple: the big coin dealers and the big auction houses do not want you to know. They want you to keep spending these coins so they can scoop them up for pennies on the dollar. But not today. Today, you are going to become the expert. Let me start with the most important detail. The P mint mark. Do you see it? Look at the front of the coin. Look to the right of George Washington's ponytail. There it is. A tiny letter, P. For decades, the Philadelphia Mint did not put a mint mark on their coins. They were the plain ones. But in 1980, they started punching that P onto the quarter. And 1981 was one of the very first years where this P mark appeared in massive numbers. That makes the 1981 P quarter a historic coin. It is a turning point. It is the beginning of a new era. And beginnings are always valuable. But here is where it gets juicy. The Philadelphia Mint in 1981 was under incredible pressure. They were pumping out millions of quarters to keep up with the economy. The dies were wearing out faster than they could replace them. The machines were overheating. The workers were overworked. And when that happens, errors happen. Beautiful, life-changing errors. The first error you need to look for is the filled P. Take a magnifying glass. Look at that P mint mark. Is it clear? Can you see the little loop inside the letter P? Or is it filled in with metal? If the P looks solid, if it looks like a blob, you have a filled P error. This might sound like a small thing, but to collectors, it is a big deal. A clear, sharp P is common. But a filled, mushy P is an error. And error coins are money coins. A filled P 1981 quarter can be worth 10, 20, even 50 times its face value depending on the condition. That is not pocket change anymore. That is real money. But the filled P is just the warm-up. Let me tell you about the real treasure. The 1981 P quarter is notorious for the double die reverse. This is when the back of the coin, the eagle, the words United States of America, the phrase quarter dollar, shows doubling. It looks like the coin has a ghost image. It looks like your eyes are playing tricks on you. But they are not. This is a genuine die error. The die that stamped the coin was itself doubled. And every coin struck with that die carries the same doubling. Now, why is this so special? Because the 1981 P double die reverse is one of the rarest modern errors in the entire Washington quarter series. There are only a few thousand of them in existence. And most people who have one do not even know it. They are sitting in jars, in drawers, in piggy banks across America, just waiting to be discovered. If you find one, you are not looking at $100. You are looking at 500, 1,000, maybe more. There are collectors right now who would pay serious money for a high-grade 1981 P double die. And you might have one in your pocket. Let me talk about the third secret. The weak strike. This is a subtle error, but it is powerful. The 1981 P quarters were sometimes struck with low pressure. This means the details on the coin are not sharp. The eagle's feathers look flat. Washington's hair looks mushy. The letters look faded. To the untrained eye, a weak strike looks like a worn-out coin. But there is a difference between wear and a weak strike. Wear happens over time. A weak strike happens at the moment of creation. And collectors know the difference. They pay a premium for authentic weak strikes because they are proof of the chaos inside the Philadelphia Mint in 1981. Now, I know what you are thinking. This is too much information. How am I supposed to remember all of this? Do not worry. I am going to make it simple for you. When this video ends, I want you to go find every 1981 quarter you can. Look at the mint mark. Is it a P? Good. Now check 3 things. 1. Is the P filled or clear? 2. Does the back of the coin look doubled? 3. Do the details look weak and mushy? That is it. 3 checks. 30 seconds. And you could walk away with a small fortune. But here is the thing that most people do not understand. This is not just about the money. Yes, the money is nice. Yes, finding a rare coin is exciting. But there is something deeper here. There is a connection to history. When you hold a 1981 P quarter, you are holding a piece of the American story. 1981 was the year Ronald Reagan became president. It was the year the space shuttle Columbia launched for the first time. It was a year of change, of innovation, of struggle. And this coin was in the pockets of Americans during all of it. It bought bread. It bought gas. It bought movie tickets. And now, it is in your hands. That is not just metal. That is a time capsule. And that is why I am here. I am not like the other channels. I am not going to show you a blurry image and yell at you to subscribe. I am going to give you real information. I am going to treat you like the smart, capable person you are. Because you are smart. You are still watching. You have not clicked away. That means you have the patience to learn. And that patience is going to pay off. Let me tell you a quick story. A woman in Ohio was cleaning out her deceased husband's coin jar. He had been a truck driver, and he used to throw his spare change into a big glass jar every night. The jar had thousands of quarters. She was going to take it to the bank and deposit it. But her son said, "Mom, wait. Let me check something first." He had watched a video about the 1981 quarter. They spent an evening sorting through the jar. And guess what they found? A 1981 double die reverse. They sent it in to be graded. It came back as a high-grade specimen. They sold it at auction for $2,300. $2,300 from a jar of change that was worth maybe $200 total. That woman's life was changed because her son knew what to look for. And now, you know what to look for. This is the power of information. This is the power of paying attention. While the rest of the world walks around with their eyes closed, you are waking up. You are seeing the value in the things they ignore. That is the mindset of a winner. That is the mindset of a person who builds wealth. And it all starts with a simple 1981 Washington quarter. Now, let us talk about condition. This is critical. You cannot just find an error coin and expect to retire. The condition matters. Collectors want coins that are in good shape. They want coins with minimal scratches, minimal wear, and strong luster. If you find a 1981 quarter with an error, do not clean it. Whatever you do, do not scrub it. Do not use polish. Do not use toothpaste. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Just put it in a protective holder and leave it alone. Let the professionals handle the grading. Your job is simply to find it and protect it. And here is the urgency. The 1981 quarter is getting harder to find every day. The mint stopped making them over 40 years ago. They are disappearing from circulation. The banks are not handing them out anymore. The metal detectors are digging them up. The collectors are hoarding them. The supply is shrinking. And as the supply shrinks, the value goes up. That is basic economics. The time to find these coins is now. Not next year. Not 5 years from now. Now. So, I am challenging you. I am challenging you to take action. After this video, do not just sit there. Do not just scroll to the next video. Get up. Go through your change. Check your car. Check your couch. Check your coin jar. Look for the 1981 look for the filled mint mark. Look for the doubling. Look for the weak strike. And when you find something, even if you are not sure, come back here and tell me. Leave a comment. Tell me what you found. I want to hear from you. I want to build this community of sharp-eyed, smart Americans who refuse to be fooled. This is not just a video. This is a movement. It is a movement of people who understand that wealth is not about luck. It is about knowledge. It is about action. It is about looking at the world with open eyes. And the 1981 Washington Quarter is your entry point. It is your training ground. It is your first step toward financial independence. Do not waste this opportunity. Do not let it slip away. The coin is out there. It is waiting for you. The question is, are you going to find it? Or are you going to let someone else find it first? The choice is yours. Now go. Go check your change. And let me know what you discover. You are holding a coin right now that could change your entire life. Not next year. Not next month. This week. And the craziest part? You probably walked past this exact coin 100 times and never even glanced at it. Today that ends. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, and by the time this video finishes, you might realize you're sitting on $5,000, $10,000, even $40,000 without knowing it. Let me ask you something. When you hear the words, quarter dollar, what comes to your mind? 25 cents. A gumball. Maybe a parking meter if you're lucky. But what if I told you there's a specific quarter, minted in a very specific window of time, that coin collectors are desperately hunting right now? I mean right now, as you're listening to this, people are checking their pocket change, their old jars, their grandfather's coin collections, searching for this one coin. The year is 1776. Well, actually, it's 1776 to 1976. The Bicentennial Quarter. America's 200th birthday celebration captured in metal. And right now, somewhere out there, there's a version of this coin with no mint mark that is causing absolute chaos in the coin collecting world. Now hold on. Before you click away thinking this is just another coin video, I need you to understand something. I'm not here to waste your time. Every single word from this point forward contains information that could literally put money in your pocket. And I don't mean pocket change. I mean life-changing money. The kind of money that pays off debt. The kind of money that gives you breathing room. The kind of money that makes you look at a simple quarter completely differently for the rest of your life. So why is this particular coin so special? Why are collectors willing to pay thousands of dollars for a quarter that most people would spend on a soda without thinking twice? The answer lies in three things: rarity, condition, and a minting anomaly that most people don't even know exists. Let me break this down for you in a way you'll never forget. In 1975 and 1976, the United States Mint did something extraordinary. They stopped producing the standard Washington quarter with the eagle on the back. Instead, they created a special design featuring a colonial drummer boy, with a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars representing the original colonies. This was the Bicentennial Quarter. A celebration of 200 years of American independence. Millions were made. Most are worth exactly 25 cents. But here's where your ears need to perk up. The Philadelphia Mint, the oldest and most historic mint in America, produced these quarters. And Philadelphia, unlike other mints, has a tradition. They often don't put a mint mark on their coins. That's right. No little p like you'd see today. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just pure, unmarked metal. And for the Bicentennial Quarter, the Philadelphia version with no mint mark, in pristine condition, or with a very specific error, is worth more than you can possibly imagine. Now you're probably thinking, okay, I've seen these quarters. The drummer boy. So what? What makes mine worth thousands? I'm glad you asked, because this next part is what separates a regular quarter from a treasure. Condition is everything. If you find a 1776 to 1976 no mint mark quarter that looks like it just came off the press, with sharp details on the drummer's face, crisp lettering, and absolutely no wear, you're holding a coin worth hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars. But it gets even better. There's something called the double die error. Imagine the coin being struck twice, ever so slightly off, creating a shadow effect on the lettering, on the date, on the words, "In God We Trust." These error coins are so rare that when one appears at auction, collectors lose their minds. Bidding wars break out. And the final price? $4,000. $8,000. One sold for over $16,000. For a quarter. A coin that was made to be worth 25 cents. But wait. There's more. And this is the part that will make you want to pause this video and start checking every quarter in your house. There's a version struck on a silver planchet. Most bicentennial quarters are made of copper nickel. But the San Francisco Mint produced special silver versions. Now here's the twist. Occasionally, a silver planchet somehow ended up at the Philadelphia Mint, got struck with no mint mark, and released into circulation. These coins weigh slightly more. They sound different when you drop them. And if you find one, you're looking at potentially $40,000. $40,000. From a quarter. Just let that sink in. I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds too good to be true. And I understand that skepticism. I had it too. But here's the thing. These sales are documented. They're recorded. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, they have the receipts. People have literally found these coins in their change jars. Grandparents who saved random quarters for decades suddenly discovered they were sitting on a small fortune. It happens. It really happens. So how do you check your coin? First, look at the date. It must say 1776-1976. Both dates. Not one or the other. Then look at the back. The drummer boy. Then, and this is crucial, look for the mint mark. It's located on the front, to the right of George Washington's ponytail, just above the date. If you see nothing there, no D, no S, just blank space, you have a Philadelphia no mint mark quarter. Then check the condition. Is the coin shiny? Are the details sharp? Can you see every drum line, every feather on the eagle on the back of the drum? Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Look for doubling on the letters. Tilt the coin under good light. And weigh it if you can. A standard clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. That tiny difference could be worth a fortune. Now, I need to be completely honest with you about something. Not every no mint mark bicentennial quarter is worth thousands. Most circulated ones that have been handled, scratched, worn down by decades of use, they're worth maybe $1 or $2 above face value to the right collector. But the thrill is in the hunt. Because somewhere out there, in someone's coin jar, in a forgotten drawer, in a collection passed down from a relative, sits a perfect, uncirculated, no mint mark 1776-1976 quarter with an error that nobody has noticed yet. And that coin is waiting to be discovered. The coin market is heating up right now. More and more people are getting into collecting. The demand for rare quarters is skyrocketing. And as time goes on, these coins only get rarer. They're not making any more 1976 bicentennial quarters. Every year, more get lost, more get damaged, more get melted down. The supply shrinks. The demand grows. And the value climbs higher and higher. Think about this. Right now, at this very moment, there are people making a living simply by hunting through coins. They go to banks, they get rolls of quarters, they search through them, find the valuable ones, and sell them for massive profits. They know what to look for. And now, so do you. You are no longer someone who will casually spend a bicentennial quarter without a second glance. From this moment forward, you have knowledge. And knowledge, in this case, is literally money. I want you to imagine something. Imagine it's a quiet evening. You're going through an old box of coins that your grandmother gave you years ago. You've been meaning to look through it but never got around to it. Tonight is different. Tonight you remember this video. You pull out the quarters one by one. Most are regular. Some are worn. But then, at the bottom of the box, still in a little plastic case, sits a 1776 to 1976 quarter. No mint mark. Absolutely pristine. Shiny as the day it was minted. Your heart starts beating faster. You grab your phone. You look up recent auction results. And your hands start shaking. Because you just realized that a coin worth 25 cents is about to change everything. That moment. That feeling. That's what this is all about. And that moment could be closer than you think. Here's what I want you to do right now. Before this video ends. Go get your quarters. Check your pockets. Check your car. Check that jar in the kitchen. Look for the drummer boy. Look for the double date. Look for no mint mark. And if you find one, even if you're not sure if it's valuable, take care of it. Don't clean it. Never clean a coin. It destroys the value. Just keep it safe. Get it checked by a professional coin dealer or a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you exactly what you have and what it's worth. I'm telling you this because I genuinely believe that hidden treasures are everywhere. We just walk past them because we don't know what to look for. But you're different now. You have the knowledge. You have the tools. And most importantly, you have the opportunity. The 1776 to 1976 no mint mark quarter is out there. Maybe in your house. Maybe in your pocket right now. The only question is, are you going to look? One more thing before I go. If this video helped you, if you learned something today that you didn't know before, share it. Send it to someone who might have old coins sitting around. You never know who you might help. You never know whose life might change because you shared a video about a quarter. Sometimes the smallest things have the biggest impact. A quarter can become thousands. A moment of curiosity can become a discovery. And a simple video can be the spark that starts it all. Thank you for watching until the very end. You're one of the few who stayed all the way through, and that tells me you're serious about this. You're not just a casual viewer. You're someone who wants to learn, who wants to find something amazing, who wants to change their circumstances. And I respect that deeply. Now go check those quarters. Your treasure is waiting. Stop whatever you're doing right now. Take out the quarters in your pocket. Open that old coin jar on your dresser. Look at the loose change in your car's cup holder. Because right now, in this exact moment, you might be holding the single most controversial and valuable mistake the United States government ever made. And most people don't even know this story exists. I'm talking about the 1965 quarter. And before you roll your eyes and think, it's just a quarter from the 60s, I've seen hundreds of those, I need you to give me the next few minutes. Because what you're about to learn will completely rewrite everything you think you know about coins. This isn't just about finding money. This is about uncovering a secret that the history books glossed over. A secret that, if you're lucky enough to find it in your change, could be worth more than some people make in an entire year. Let me take you back to 1965. America was changing. The Vietnam War was escalating. Music was revolutionizing. But in the world of coins, something massive was happening. Something that sent shockwaves through the entire nation. The United States Mint made a decision that outraged collectors, confused the public, and accidentally created one of the rarest error coins in modern American history. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. They had real, intrinsic value. You could hear the beautiful ring of silver when you dropped one on a table. But silver prices were rising. The government was panicking. They needed to save money. So in 1965, they made a radical change. They stripped the silver out of quarters entirely. The new quarter would be a sandwich of copper and nickel. A clad coin. No precious metal. Just a quarter that was worth exactly 25 cents and nothing more. But the government had another problem. Coin collectors. When the mint announced that 1964 would be the last year for silver quarters, people hoarded them. Bags and bags of silver quarters vanished from banks overnight. The government blamed collectors for the coin shortage. Their solution? Punishment. In 1965, they made a shocking decision. No more mint marks. They removed the little D for Denver and the little S for San Francisco from all coins. They even froze the date. Every quarter struck in 1965 and for the next 2 years would all carry the date 1964. No, wait, they actually settled on simply using the 1965 date for everything minted that year. Their goal was simple. Make coins boring. Stop people from collecting them. Force people to spend them. And here's where the story takes a turn that could directly affect your bank account right now. The Philadelphia Mint was working overtime. They were striking hundreds of millions of these new copper-nickel quarters. But remember, Philadelphia traditionally didn't put a mint mark on coins anyway. So a 1965 quarter with no mint mark. That's completely normal. That's the Philadelphia product. Millions and millions of them were made. In worn, circulated condition, a 1965 no mint mark quarter is worth exactly face value. 25 cents. You can spend it without a second thought. But, and this is the biggest, but, you will hear today. What happens when a mistake occurs? What happens when the very system designed to be boring and uniform fails? This is where you need to lean in close. This is the part that could make you look at your 1965 quarter with completely new eyes. Error number 1. The silver planchet error. Remember how the government stopped making silver quarters in 1964? Well, at the start of 1965, there were still some leftover silver planchets. Metal discs meant for 1964 quarters, just sitting in the bins at the mint. And by some incredible accident, a few of these silver discs got fed into the 1965 presses. The result? A 1965 quarter struck on 90% silver. You can identify this coin by its weight. A regular 1965 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver one weighs 6.25 grams. That tiny difference, less than a gram, is worth somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. If you find one in pristine condition, double that. All because a worker didn't clean out a bin properly. But wait. The errors get even stranger. And more valuable. Error number 2. Wrong planchet errors. Sometimes a blank meant for a dime or a penny would get mixed in with the quarter blanks. Imagine a 1965 quarter design struck on a piece of metal the size of a nickel. It sounds like a joke. It looks like a mistake. And to collectors, it's a holy grail worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, I would notice if my quarter was silver or the wrong size. And you're right. Those are dramatic. But the next error is so subtle, so easy to miss, that it could be sitting in your wallet right now and you would never know it by just glancing at the date. Error number 3. The 1965 double die. Now, double dies are the rock stars of the coin world. They happen when the hub that stamps the design into the die shifts slightly, creating a doubled image. On a 1965 quarter, look at the word Liberty. Look at the words, In God We Trust. Look at the date itself. If you see a slight shadow, a ghostly second image right next to the main letters, you have a double die. This coin, in average condition, can sell for $1,000. In uncirculated, flawless condition, $5,000. $10,000. Auction records show one selling for over $16,000. $16,000 for a quarter that most people would spend on a parking meter. But there's one more error. The holy grail of 1965 quarters. The coin that should not exist. The coin that defies everything the government tried to do. The 1965 quarter struck on a 1964 silver planchet, and it's missing the clad layer. Imagine a quarter that looks gray, not silver, not copper on the edge. It looks wrong. It feels wrong. And it's worth more than your car. I've seen verified sales of this specific error reaching over $30,000. Now I need to be serious with you for a moment. I know when people hear these numbers, skepticism kicks in. You think, if it were that easy, everyone would be rich. And you're right to be skeptical. The vast majority of 1965 no-mint mark quarters are just regular quarters. But regular is not the same as all. The existence of these error coins proves that the system wasn't perfect. The government's plan to make coins boring failed in the most spectacular way. And those failures are now sitting in coin collections, bank rolls, and yes, even in spare change across America. So how do you check your 1965 quarter right now? Here is your action plan. Grab the quarter. Look at the date. 1965, no mint mark. Good, that's the base. Now do the drop test. Drop it on a hard surface. A regular clad quarter makes a dull, flat thud. A silver quarter rings. It sings. That sound difference could mean a $10,000 difference in value. Now weigh it if you can. 5.67 grams is normal. 6.25 grams is silver. If you don't have a scale, no problem. Stack it next to a quarter you know is from after 1965. If your 1965 looks slightly thinner, slightly different on the edge, you might have something special. Then get a magnifying glass. Check the lettering. Is there any doubling? Look at Washington's eye. Is there a die chip giving him an extra eyelid? Look at the edge. Is it all silver, or can you see the copper stripe? A 1965 quarter with no copper stripe on the edge is either silver or missing its clad layer, and both are potentially worth a fortune. I'm telling you all of this because I genuinely believe that treasures are lost in plain sight. The government of 1965 wanted to stop people like you and me from caring about coins. They wanted quarters to be boring, spendable tokens with no soul. But they failed. Because here you are, decades later, learning about their mistakes. Learning how their errors could become your windfall. Don't let their plan work on you. Be the person who looks closer. Be the person who checks. While everyone else is tapping their phones and ignoring their change, you have the knowledge. You have the insight. The 1965 no-mint mark quarter is the ultimate test of attention. Most people lose. They spend it on a coffee and never think about it again. But the ones who win, they're the ones who took the time to learn, to look, to hunt. So here's what I want you to do now. Before this video ends, before you scroll to the next thing, make a promise to yourself. Tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't just toss your change into a jar. Look at it. Really look at it. Pull out every 1965 quarter you see. Check them against what you learned today. You might find nothing. That's okay. But what if you don't? The coin market right now is hungry. Collectors are desperate for rare error coins. Prices are climbing. The longer you wait, the more expensive these coins become for others, and the more you lose out if you let one slip through your fingers. I've seen it happen. A man in Ohio found a silver 1965 quarter in a roll from his bank. He sold it the next week for $9,200. A woman in Texas inherited a coin jar from her father. Inside was a double-die 1965. She paid off her credit card debt with the proceeds. These stories are real. They are documented. And they could be yours. Share this video with someone you care about. Someone who could use a little luck. Someone who might have a jar of old coins from a grandparent sitting in a closet untouched. You might be the reason they find their treasure. And if this video helped you, if you learned something today that you didn't know when you woke up this morning, then my job is done. Thank you for staying until the very last second. Most people clicked away at the beginning because they assumed a 1965 quarter was worthless. You didn't. You stayed. You learned. And that curiosity, that willingness to dig deeper, is exactly what separates the people who find treasure from the people who walk right past it. Now go check your change. Your 1965 quarter is waiting. There is a year in American coin history that the government desperately wants you to forget. A year so strange, so mysterious, that it created an entire generation of coins that shouldn't even exist. I'm talking about the 1966 quarter. And if you have one with no mint mark sitting in your house right now, you might be holding the key to a story that coin collectors whisper about in private auctions. A story that, if you understand it fully, could put thousands of dollars directly into your hands. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a coin from the mid-1960s and wondered why it just feels different? There's a reason. Between 1965 and 1967, the United States government was at war with coin collectors. And 1966 was the peak of that war. It was the year the government went to extreme lengths to make sure your coins would be worthless. But their plan backfired. Spectacularly. And the proof of that failure is hiding in plain sight. To understand why the 1966 no-mint mark quarter is so significant, you have to understand the chaos that was happening behind the scenes. In 1964, Americans were hoarding silver coins by the millions. Bags of quarters and dimes were vanishing from banks overnight. The government was bleeding silver. So they did something drastic. They removed all silver from quarters starting in 1965. But that wasn't enough. They wanted to punish collectors. They wanted to make coin collecting itself impossible. So in 1966, the mint did three things that had never been done before. First, no mint marks. They removed the little d for Denver, the s for San Francisco, everything. Every quarter from 1966 looks like it came from Philadelphia, even if it was made in Denver. Second, they froze the date. No design changes, no special editions, nothing to make one coin more special than another. And third, they intentionally produced coins with poor quality control. They didn't care about crisp strikes or perfect details. They just wanted to pump out billions of boring coins so that nobody would ever want to save a quarter again. But here's what the government didn't count on. Human error. In their rush to mass-produce these soulless coins, the mint made mistakes. Horrible, glorious, breathtaking mistakes. And those mistakes, the coins that slipped through the cracks, are now worth more than gold. The regular 1966 no-mint mark quarter. Let's get that out of the way first. Over 800 million were produced. In circulated condition, worth face value. 25 cents. You can spend it without a second thought. But now let me tell you about the ones you cannot spend. The ones that will make your heart stop if you find them. The first error. And this is the one that sends collectors into a frenzy. The 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet. How is this possible? Silver was supposed to be gone in 1965. Finished. Done. But at the beginning of 1966, there were still silver planchets hiding in the hoppers, in the bins, in the dark corners of the Philadelphia and Denver mints. And when those leftover 1964 silver discs accidentally got fed into the 1966 presses, something magical happened. A coin was born that should not exist. A 1966 quarter made of 90% silver. Let me tell you how to identify this ghost coin. A regular clad 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. That difference is tiny. You can't feel it in your hand. But a scale doesn't lie. Take your 1966 quarter and drop it on a wooden table. Listen carefully. A clad quarter makes a dull, flat thud. A silver quarter sings. It rings like a bell. That sound is the sound of money. Big money. A 1966 silver quarter, depending on condition, has sold for $8,000, $10,000, even $12,000. All because someone at the mint didn't clean a machine properly. But the errors don't stop there. The second type is even more valuable because it's even more bizarre. Wrong planchet errors. In the chaos of 1966, blanks meant for dimes, pennies, and even foreign coins got mixed into the quarter production line. Imagine finding a 1966 quarter that's the size of a dime. Or a quarter struck on a penny planchet with Lincoln's ghost faintly visible underneath Washington's face. These are not fantasy. These are real coins. They exist. And when they appear at auction, collectors fight over them like sharks. Prices for these wrong planchet errors can reach $15,000, $20,000, even $25,000. For a quarter. A quarter that looks like a factory reject. A quarter that most people would throw away. Now, I need you to pay very close attention to this next error because it is the sneakiest one of all. The double-die 1966 quarter. The mint was working their machines to death in 1966. Dies were wearing out faster than they could replace them. And sometimes, a worn die would get one final strike before being discarded. That strike created a doubled image. On the 1966 quarter, look at Washington's profile. Look at the word liberty. Look at the motto, "In God We Trust." If you see a subtle doubling, a ghost image slightly offset from the main design, you have found something extraordinary. These double-die quarters sell for thousands. One pristine example sold for over $17,000. $17,000 hiding in plain sight on a coin that says 25 cents. But there is one more error. The crown jewel. The holy grail of 1966 quarters. And this one almost never gets talked about on YouTube. The missing clad layer error. Picture this. A 1966 quarter that looks completely normal on one side but is missing the outer copper nickel layer on the other side. The copper core is exposed. It looks wrong. It looks like a damaged coin. But it's not damaged. It's a mint error. And it's spectacularly rare. I have seen only a handful of verified sales. The price? Upwards of $20,000. For a coin that looks like a mistake. Because it is a mistake. A mistake that the government never wanted you to find. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds impossible. How could so many errors happen in 1 year? The answer is simple. Desperation. The mint was producing coins at a breakneck pace. Quality control was non-existent. Workers were exhausted. Machines were breaking down. And in that environment of chaos and pressure, rare coins were born. Coins that are now sitting in old collections, forgotten jars, and yes, even in circulation today. Here's your action plan for the 1966 No Mint Mark Quarter. Step 1. Find the quarter. Date 1966. No mint mark. Step 2. Weigh it. 5.67 grams is normal. 6.25 grams is silver. If you don't have a scale, do the drop test. Listen for the ring. Step 3. Examine the edge. Do you see the copper stripe? All clad quarters have a visible copper stripe on the edge. If your 1966 quarter has a solid silver edge with no copper line, you might have a silver planchet error. Step 4. Grab a magnifying glass. Look at the letters. Look for doubling. Look at Washington's I. Look for any raised metal, any strange marks that don't belong. Step 5. Check the size. Is it slightly smaller than a normal quarter? Slightly larger? Does it look off? Wrong planchet errors are often the most valuable. Step 6. Look at the surface. Is any part of the coin a different color? A grayish brown? That could be a missing clad layer. Don't clean it. Never clean a coin. You could ruin thousands of dollars with a single wipe. I want to tell you a quick story. A few years ago, a man in Michigan was going through his late father's coin collection. His father was a hoarder. Jars and jars of old coins, most of them worthless. The man was about to take everything to the bank and cash it in. But something stopped him. He remembered a video, much like this one, about the 1966 quarter. He decided to check one last jar before heading out the door. Inside, at the very bottom, was a 1966 quarter that looked strange. It was dark gray, almost black. He weighed it. 6.25 grams. Silver. He had it authenticated. It sold at auction for $11,500. His father had carried that quarter around for decades, never knowing what it was worth. That man almost spent a fortune on a car payment. Don't let that be you. The 1966 No Mint Mark Quarter is the ultimate symbol of government overreach failing in the most poetic way. They tried to make coins boring. They tried to erase collecting culture. And instead, they created some of the most sought-after error coins in American history. Every 1966 quarter is a tiny rebellion. A little piece of defiance. And the people who know what to look for are the ones who profit. I'm telling you all of this not to hype you up for no reason. I'm telling you this because I know, with absolute certainty, that undiscovered treasures are still out there. Old coin jars. Estate sales. Flea markets. The quarter your grandfather gave you that you tossed in a drawer and forgot about. Somewhere, right now, a 1966 era quarter is waiting to be found. And the only question that matters is this. Will you be the one who finds it? Or will you be the one who spends it on a soda and never knows what slipped through your fingers? If this video opened your eyes, if you learned something today that you didn't know before, share it. Send it to your family. Send it to that friend who collects coins but doesn't really know what to look for. Because sometimes, all it takes is one piece of knowledge to change someone's life. And that knowledge might be sitting in your pocket right now. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Most people clicked away. You didn't. You stayed because you know that information is power. And now you have power that very few people possess. The power to look at a 1966 quarter and see not pocket change, but a potential fortune. Now go. Check your quarters. Your 1966 treasure is waiting.